It always starts small. A sentence, a pause, a quiet, almost trembling truth you finally decide to say out loud. That hurt me. Not screamed, not weaponized, just human. And that's when the room changes. The air tightens, the temperature drops, and instead of softness, instead of reflection, you're suddenly on trial. They don't ask how, they don't ask why, they interrogate your tone, your timing, your memory, your sanity. They cross-examine your pain like a hostile attorney. And by the end of the conversation, you're not talking about what they did anymore, you're defending who you are. If you've ever been called too sensitive right after being pushed to the edge, this isn't an argument problem. This is a power problem. And here's the hidden truth most people never hear. You are not in a disagreement. You are in an asymmetrical conflict. You are playing the game of connection. They are playing the game of control. And the moment you realize that, everything changes. Because control is not loud. It's procedural. It follows rules you were never taught. The king knows this. The shadow exploits it. And the martyr bleeds trying to win fairness in a rigged arena. Most empathetic people make the same fatal mistake. They escalate good faith. More explanation, more context, more vulnerability, more love. You think clarity will save you, but clarity is not what they want. They want leverage. Every explanation becomes data. Every emotion becomes currency. Every long message becomes proof that they still own real estate in your nervous system. This is why you leave these conversations exhausted, not angry, not resolved, just hollow. Because you're paying a tax you never agreed to pay. And the tax is emotional supply. High conflict personalities don't run on logic. They run on dopamine loops. Your anger, your tears, your frantic attempts to be understood. That's not communication to them. That's reinforcement. Like Pavlov's dog, they poke, you react, and their brain lights up. Control confirmed, hierarchy restored. So when you sit there thinking, if I could just say it the right way, understand this. You are not missing the right sentence. You are standing in the wrong arena. This is where most people lose years of their lives, because they don't see the economics at play. Every time you re-engage emotionally, you increase sunk cost. I've already invested so much. I can't just disengage now. I need closure. And while you're calculating fairness, they're calculating opportunity cost. How much control can they extract from you today? This is why walking away feels harder than staying. Not because you're weak, but because your brain hates wasting investment. And they know it. So let me say this clearly before we go any further. You will never win this game by playing better. You only win by changing games. That's where detachment begins. Detachment is not coldness, it's withdrawal of supply. Strategy is not cruelty, it's ending improvisation. Because improvisation is where they dominate. The first weapon you need is not confidence. It's boring, the gray rock. Emotionally unresponsive, flat, neutral, not because you don't feel, but because you stop broadcasting your feelings to someone who monetizes them. You're so dramatic. Okay, everyone agrees you're unstable. I hear you. Explain yourself, now. I'm not discussing that. Notice what's missing. No defense, no justification, no performance. You're not trying to be understood. You're trying to starve the loop. And this is where it gets dangerous, because when the reward stops, they don't retreat, they escalate. Clinicians call it an extinction burst, like a vending machine that stops working. You don't walk away, you slam the button harder, you shake the machine. When you go gray rock, they will raise the volume, sharpen the insults, invoke allies, rewrite history in real time. This is the moment most people fail. Because the pressure feels unbearable. And if you react here, you teach them something lethal. I just need to hurt you more. So ask yourself, how many times in your life have you trained someone to escalate? Not intentionally, but neurologically. This is where the king archetype emerges. Not loud, not reactive, unmovable. But there's a complication. What if you can't disappear? What if they're your coworker, your co-parent, your family? Pure gray rock can make you look hostile, and manipulators love witnesses. So the strategy evolves. Yellow rock. Polite, professional, impeccably calm. You respond to logistics, not narrative. They say, "You never cared about this team. You're selfish." You reply, "Hi, the deadline is Tuesday at 3 p.m. Please confirm you received the files. Best regards." On paper, you're cooperative. Energetically, you're gone. And this is where power quietly shifts. Because now, outsiders see reason. They see restraint. They see someone who doesn't take bait. Manipulators lose oxygen when they lose audience. But there's an even deeper trap, the one that catches the most empathetic minds. Parents, long-term partners, people you can't reduce to a transaction. Here, detachment must be internal. Imagine a glass wall. You see them, you hear them, but their emotional force hits the glass and slides down. Nothing penetrates. And here's the psychological reframe that saves lives. Stop asking, "Why are they doing this to me?" Start asking, "What must it feel like to live in a mind that needs this much control?" This doesn't excuse them, it explains them. And explanation removes personalization. Your brain exits the emotional network and enters the analytical one. But listen carefully. This is not an invitation to save them. That's the Marner's trap. You cannot love a broken control system into health. You cannot fix hardware with empathy. The glass wall protects you from attack and from your own savior reflex. And now we arrive at the most dangerous instinct of all, the one that feels noble, reasonable, human. Jade. Justify, argue, defend, explain. The moment you explain, you lose. Because explanations are not clarity to high-conflict personalities. They are ammunition. And once you see that, you realize something chilling. The fight isn't emotional, it's architectural. And in part 2, I'm going to show you the final layer of control they rely on, the one that makes intelligent, self-aware people doubt their own reality, and how to dismantle it permanently. Because once you see how they rewrite time itself, you will never argue the same way again. Part 2. The War Over Reality. In Part 1, we exposed the game. Not the argument, the architecture beneath it, the asymmetry, the supply loop, the extinction burst. But there's a deeper weapon they rely on, the one that doesn't just drain your energy, it fractures your sense of self. Gaslighting. Not the movie version, not obvious lies, but subtle reality erosion. They don't say, "That didn't happen." They say, "You're remembering it wrong. That's not what I meant. You're twisting things." And slowly, your confidence in your own perception begins to rot. This is the final frontier of control. Because once they own your memory, they own your future. This is why intelligent people fall apart around high-conflict personalities, not because they lack intelligence, but because intelligence seeks coherence. And gaslighting is coherence warfare. So you need an anchor outside your mind. You need to become a documentarian. Not emotional journaling, not venting. Facts, date, time, exact words. Because when they say, "I never said that," you don't argue, you check the record. This does two things. First, it stabilizes you. Second, it terrifies them, because systems hate records. But for those of you who are highly intuitive, there's an even more powerful compass. Your body. They may say, "I'm just trying to help," but your chest tightens, your stomach drops, your energy drains. That's not anxiety, that's pattern recognition. Your nervous system detects predation faster than language can process it. When words and body disagree, trust the body. Always. Because the shadow is fluent in language, but it cannot fake physiology. Now, here is the final shift. Dealing with a high conflict person is not about winning. You will never win. It's about reclaiming mental territory. Gray rock cuts off supply. Biff communication ends chaos. Documentation anchors reality. And slowly, their presence shrinks. They stop living rent-free in your head. And this is where something unexpected happens. You don't feel triumphant, you feel calm, detached. And detachment is the ultimate loss of control for someone who needs domination to feel alive. This is the king's posture. Not reactive, not performative, sovereign. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop bleeding for those who profit from your empathy. And you realize something profound. The peace you were begging them for was always yours to claim.